Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Originally published in Japan as Dragon Ball Z Sparking Meteor, it's the third installment of the Budokai Tenkaichi series. It's worth noting that this game was developed by Spike and not Dimps, like the most recent Xenoverse game. As you probably guessed, Bandai Namco is here too. The game was released for the PlayStation 2 and Wii on October 4th, 2007 in Japan. The PlayStation 2 version was released in November of 2007 in North America and Europe. Like its predecessor, despite being released under the Dragon Ball Z label, Budokai Tenkaichi 3 essentially touched upon all the series installments of Dragon Ball history, featuring numerous characters and stages set in Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball GT, and dives into the movies as well. The game also features one of Akira Toriyama's original characters related to Dragon Ball through crossovers from Dr. Slump. Budokai Tenkaichi 3 features 161 characters, almost the largest in any fighting game. Ryumito stated the game would feature never-before-seen characters made exclusively for the game, referring to the Saiyans' Great Ape forms. Several new notable features include battle replay, night and day stages, the Wii's online capability, and a disc fusion system. Battle replay allows players to capture their favorite fights and save them to an SD card to view later on. Night and day stages allow for more accurate battles in Dragon history, as well as the ability to transform into a Great Ape using a moon. The story here is what you would expect from a Dragon Ball Z game. It follows the anime from beginning to end, and I mean from Dragon Ball to GT plus the movies, and even some What If episodes. It's not that bad. Of course they don't go in great detail on each battle, as that would take quite a long time. As you've seen with other Dragon Ball Z games, it gets the point across. If you're looking to play through a story you already know and get the full experience, Budokai Tenkaichi 3 will be your best bet. Gameplay here is at its prime. After changing from the Budokai series to Tenkaichi, every battle made you feel like you were actually in the anime, knocking your enemies through buildings, changing into Super Saiyan without going into each additional stage, bursting in the air, knocking your opponent down to the ground. It's all here and it's fine-tuned and it's at its best. Although with having a huge roster of characters, you're bound to look at some and be like, who the hell is that? I did for at least a couple of them. And this is where you run into a bit of a wall. Lots of characters in this game play just alike. Some even have the same exact moves. I guess that will be a given when your roster is nearing almost 200, but I still only found myself playing with my favorite characters, or some of the Saiyans, since they're now all able to transform into their Great Apes. Although I do have to hand it to them for including all these characters. To date, this DBZ game has the most characters in the roster, and is the second biggest roster next to Tobal 2, for which ironically Akira Toriyama was a designer as well. There is also a customization mode where you'll be able to build up your character the way you choose, giving them tons of health bars and making your punches do massive damage, but never too much that made you feel too overpowered. It's all fun and there's lots of replayability here. Like most of the Dragon Ball Z games, they tend to have a decent amount of modes, and Budokai Tenkaichi 3 is no different. There are tons of modes here for everyone, my personal favorite being the World Tournament mode. You have your training, you have your free battle, story, survival, and even online for the Wii version. This was one of the last released Dragon Ball Z titles for the PS2, with the last game being Dragon Ball Z Infinite World releasing that following year. The music here is not bad. I found that it was pretty good for the most part, although I much prefer the music from the show, the Bruce Faulkner version. It works as a replacement here. Plus, you can always just load up Spotify and listen to your favorite DBZ songs while you play. Overall, this is a great game for any Dragon Ball Z fan. It takes the best things of all the previous Dragon Ball Z games and puts them together. I love this game, and I played it countless times. I bought this around the beginning of the PS3 days, so it was fairly cheap for me then. However, like most games that come out during the end of a console's life cycle, some tend to be rare and kind of go up in price. I would go for the PS2 version if you're going to choose one. This game nowadays goes for about $40 to $60, If you find it cheaper, then snatch it up. If you're a DBZ fan, you're going to like it. Is it worth the price? Well, that's up to you. It's the price of some new games nowadays, and it's pretty rare. So I would say it's worth to own a copy of it. It's also one of the best DBZ games rated by the community. It's usually between Budokai 3 and this one. So if you're like me and if you enjoy Dragon Ball Z, I'm going to put this on my scale as buy it. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, if you like this, just leave a thumbs up and subscribe. Be on the lookout in the future where I'm going to be reviewing Xenoverse 2 as well. Be on the lookout next week where I'm going to do something a little different, and I'm going to review one of my favorite handheld systems of all time, which is the Game Boy Color.